episode 193 of the TV Dudes podcast, recorded July 26, 2018. Rock with you.
Man, we really are getting like an 80s rock music.
I think we're going to eventually rock out. We're going to run out of
They're not in a row, but we've had like 3 or 4 of those now.
Oh, no. They're in a row.
Are they all in a row?
We haven't missed one yet.
Yes!
Yes, we haven't broken that streak yet.
This is the ongoing theme at this point. I'm sure I'll get tired of it.
Yeah, because we had what, You Got the Touch.
Yep.
Yeah. And folks, this week we're doing Rock With You because we're talking about the first 3 episodes of Castle Rock over on Hulu that dropped.
Yep.
We're also talking about Trial and Error, and if you look in the background of one of the scenes, there was a rock in one of those scenes.
Also, that show rocks.
That show rocks, exactly, yeah.
Apparently the show rocks. And we have a special guest on mic with us this week.
It's not really special, Grant. I appreciate it, but I'm here every week, so that's nice of you. But
Randy's chopped liver.
Randy,
We're
I think
talking
it's special
about
today. Yeah.
we were talking about Nikki
Nick
Thighs.
Nikki Thighs is here.
That's me.
Nick Tice from the UGO podcast.
Man, there's nothing like hearing you say my name right.
Yeah.
Live here, face to face.
You're so abused. It's not that big of a deal.
your nickname is officially Milky Thighs now. I don't know if you saw that in the questions.
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
you guys. Yeah.
I caught it.
Oh man.
I'm not exactly excited about it. But
So, Nick, we've popped on your podcast a couple times, and we're glad to have you here on ours. But you're in town here for the Austin
Anime Fest, Anime Austin will be in town. It's going to be in the Holiday Inn in Middlefisk Road, I believe, and it'll be from Friday to Sunday. We'll be cutting early Sunday, but come see us at our booth down on Friday and Saturday, where we'll be playing games like the movie pitch game that we played last year with you guys, if you remember that. I don't think anyone's going to come up with anything as good as Like and Dope, but
Oh man,
like a dope.
but you can try. You can come down and try and win some prizes. We have prizes to give away and merch to sell, and it's going to be a great fun time. And it's like we were talking on the Patreon that we will record in the future that we haven't recorded out of order. It's more general than you might think. So even if you don't think you're into anime, there's going to be a lot of cool costumes and discussions there about just geeky stuff in general. It's going to be a fun time.
Who wouldn't be into anime? Is someone here not into anime?
What monster would not like?
not just me. Les hates it too.
Would hate a whole genre.
I'm also aboard.
Everything. Unless you watch everything.
Oh, I watch it. I don't like it.
Damn it, Les.
That's a good answer.
Yeah,
He
folks.
came back at me.
Like I said, we're going to talk about Trial and Error. We're going to talk about Castle Rock. But first, I wanted to say, if you guys like us on iTunes, or you're listening on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating. Write a little review. That helps us out. You can also go to patreon.com/tvdudes, make a per-episode pledge. That really does help us keep the lights on in this fancy studio.
That's true. Last week we had to record the lights off, and it was awkward.
It was. The cockroaches kept biting.
Yeah. Is that what that was?
That was Les, actually.
Oh, okay.
Les, stop biting.
Yeah, well.
It's weird.
Less nibbles.
And we also want to say that
That's my porn name.
Ironically, less nibbles gives more nibbles.
Gonna get through this, guys. Gonna get through this.
No, you just keep going. We're good.
We are proud members of the Electric Sweater Network.
Electric sweater!
Yes! We got a third voice on it this time. Thank you. So Electric Sweater, if you go to electricsweater.com, we're part of a collective of TV-centric podcasts. You can go check out all the other shows over there and, give them a listen and like them on, do all that other stuff to help them out. Go like them on iTunes and all that.
Yeah.
And before we jump over into the news, Nick, I believe you have something.
I'm a great fan of the show, and I figured out a great gift to give you guys. Apparently, there's a place in town that lets you make your own custom wine bottles. So
I think I know what's coming.
I proudly present to you from the TV Dudes Vineyards, cocaine wine.
Oh, shit!
That's amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, my God! Oh, it's so fucking good! Holy shit!
That's amazing.
What?
Oh, I could not be more pleased with that.
It says cocaine wine.
And it's written in a pile of cocaine with a rolled up 100.
So
New
there's
recipe now mostly cocaine.
so
TV Dude's Vineyard.
there will definitely be a picture of us
my
with
God,
this.
that's so good.
Yes. Oh my God, that's fantastic.
Holy shit! Thank
well
you so
done,
much.
sir.
Fantastic.
I doff my cap to your gift giving skills. That's
Yes.
amazing.
Oh, that's so good.
I was stumped. I'm like, I should get these guys a gift, and then I saw in a place in Austin you can pick it up. I didn't even have to have it delivered. I picked it up here in Austin.
So good.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's never going to stop being fun.
I don't. Shit.
We're gonna have to
wanna even open it.
We have to keep it in the studio.
Don't
And
drink
yeah,
it. Don't drink it. I had to make it authentic.
it is mostly cocaine.
It is mostly cocaine.
I'm gonna have to go spend $300 on with a friend of mine just so we can drink this.
It's the only wine you can snort.
Don't dare me.
Oh man, that gift is so awesome. But Nick is going to step away for a minute, and while he's away, let's go ahead and rock the news, Randy. What do we got?
So there's a bunch of exciting news here. BoJack Horseman is coming to Comedy Central. That's exciting if you don't have Netflix but do have Comedy Central. I guess there's someone like that.
This is the first show that is being distributed to cable from Netflix,
Right.
actually. So that's
Okay,
kind
that's
of
kind of a big deal.
It's a
Yeah.
big deal. I mean,
Who is this person that has access to
Right.
like a better than standard cable package, but not Netflix?
I don't know, my parents.
yeah, someone
like a little bit of an older generation.
Yeah.
that isn't
they're going to
doing-
love BoJack Horseman.
Yeah, yeah. So that older generation that doesn't stream stuff, they seem really up BoJack's alley.
It's a weird call. But yeah, it's mostly notable for what the deal is, which is Netflix going to Comedy Central, which
Yeah.
is not how things usually work. But that's a weird thing. I'm interested to see how that works out.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's BoJack, though. I mean, BoJack being available to more audiences, and that's kind of cool to me,
yeah,
I think.
I agree. Netflix has ordered a series based on the zombie graphic novel Daybreak, which I've not read this one, but I've read other stuff by Brian Ralph, who's sort of an indie creator. The pitch of Daybreak is it tells the story as if the reader were living it. So like the characters are talking directly to the reader. So I assume the TV show will do kind of the same thing. Aaron Eli Collette from Star Trek Discovery and Brad Payton and Jeff Fearson from the guys who did Rampage are involved.
Rampage?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
So
Is this the Woody Harrelson Rampage or the new monster movie
the
Rampage?
new monster
We
movie
fought a
Rampage,
zoo?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, sweet.
So yeah, it's a teen drama. So it's teenagers go to town, they come back, and the entire town is missing, and there are zombies.
Okay.
It's a weird. This is definitely
haven't
gonna be
read
a-
this.
It's going to be a weird zombie project.
Have you read
Okay.
this one?
I have not read this one. I've read some other stuff by Brian Ralph. He did one called Cave In. He definitely does sort of indier projects. It's going to have a different flavor than something like Walking Dead. It's going to be a very different book. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that could be good.
Speaking of comics stuff, Lock and Key is the TV show. Finally got a series order at Netflix. So the curse is broken. Lock and Key is actually going to TV.
It's
Awesome.
going to at least have a season.
Yeah.
I really thought that they were going to shelve a second pilot, make a third one 5 years from now, and shelve that.
Same.
No, this would
Yeah.
be the third one.
This is the third one?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they already did two.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I really thought we were still in pilot number 2.
Yeah,
Jesus.
no, this is the third pilot.
Please
Because this
fucking air this.
There was a Fox pilot that didn't go.
Yeah.
There was a Hulu pilot that didn't go.
Okay,
This is
yeah.
a remake. They reconfigured the Hulu pilot for Netflix.
Oh, wow.
Carlton Cuse is coming in. The writer whose name I'm blanking on right now. Who's the writer? Joe
Hill.
Hill.
Stephen King's
He
son.
stepped in to do the pilot as well. So he stepped back in to bring his baby to TV. So
Joe Hill is Stephen
Yep.
King's
son.
yep.
Yeah.
But he doesn't use that name because he don't want to ride on his dad's coattails. And he's got some pretty decent horror cred. I mean,
He
he's
really
written
does.
some-
He's
Nosferatu,
he's riding on
this.
his dad's coattails because
There's no way to not.
that was
Yeah.
his teacher.
Yeah, that's
He
true.
grew up with
Yeah.
the dude.
Yeah. But so that Lock and Key is actually coming. I'll be curious to see that. Probably the most exciting bit of news for me and most people, I think.
Vampire Chronicles at Hulu.
The Deadwood revival is beginning production in October.
I'm sorry, but I'll believe it when it fucking airs.
I'm in the same
They
place.
have screwed with me for 10 years now.
But this is another step down that road. We'd heard rumblings, and now they're doing production, which means they've built sets.
Les, you're on Twitter. Did you read W. Earl Brown's thread?
No.
Dan Doherty from Deadwood.
No.
Yeah, he writes this thread about
Franks and Beans himself.
his entire history after the show got canceled. Watching the rise and fall, the development of this until it's an actual tangible thing, and it's a great.
Oh,
thread
I'm
to
definitely
read.
checking that out,
Yeah.
man. I really like him as an actor. I got to meet his idiot buddy in Deadwood. I'm blanking on the character's name. The Swear Engine's other dipshit.
Oh yeah.
He's on Get Shorty now, and I got to interview him at ATX Fest.
Oh man,
I am so excited for
I love
this.
Deadwood.
Right?
It's gonna put me back on to rewatch the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
They talked about how he talked about how they were going to do this two-part thing that was going to be the fire and the flood, which were two events that actually happened, and it was supposed to be some parallel to Sodom and Gomorrah going on in the town and like these disasters that they lived through. But now he's talking, according to W. Earl Brown, they are jumping ahead 10 years in the future after those events had already occurred. That compensates for everyone getting older.
Actually,
and
that
Booth
helps.
Powers being dead.
Yeah, I would say Powers Booth is gone.
that's a big
Powers
thing.
Booth.
But Swearingen looks
I
different.
always say it backwards.
Yeah, but like Swearingen looks older now. I mean, just the actors have aged.
Yeah. Final bit of news, not as exciting, but definitely interesting. Apparently, the Mega City 1 TV show is going forward. Like, the script is
Awesome.
done.
Yes!
And it's...
What's Carl Urban doing right now?
Dude, there's no, like, he loves the character.
Yeah.
He
Yeah, I
loves
know
that he
he's
did
down
it.
for it if he's got time.
Why wouldn't he?
So Rob Williams is the writer. He has also written. I remember that guy from comics. He's written a ton of Judge Dredd in the comics. He's heading
cool.
up the creative team of the TV series, which is expected to premiere sometime in 2019.
Like, Almost Human is off the air.
But I really dug Almost Human. In
It
fact,
was fun.
Yeah,
somebody recently straight suggested that to me as like, please do a good Die Young. Have you seen Almost Human?
So Judge Dredd is not the only other important character. It's an ensemble piece focused on different enforcers, but
Is the psychic chick gonna be still in it?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
So cool.
Carl
I love
Urban
that movie.
is open to reprising the role, but whether based on the strength of the material. Hopefully, that does mean that
I hope
it's
it
like
works.
canary in the coal mine. Like if Carl Urban doesn't do this,
Then
we
it
might
must
have
be
to
bad.
worry.
Good.
Yeah, we might have to worry.
That said, I would love to see this go 3 or 4 seasons and like on the last season get super weird with it, like
And then they do
like
Dredd
into
2
Fringe.
for the theaters.
Right? Yeah. So like, give me a season of the Death Judges.
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
anti-judge.
Yeah, because the Dredd world is weird.
Oh, it gets
It's
super
so
fucking
weird. Yeah. No, I actually can't wait to see this explored in TV because movies by nature have to be more event oriented.
Yeah.
And it's like the difference between Star Trek movies and Star Trek TV.
The TV show can hint at just how big and fucked up this world is.
Yeah, I can't wait. I hope this goes
I hope
through.
this works. Yeah.
All right, that's all the news we got.
All right. I see Nick is chugging our wine over there in the
Did he
corner.
finish that whole bottle?
Let's
That's
go
gonna be
check on
super coked up.
All right, so Nick, you're back from finishing all that cocaine wine in the corner during the news.
Yeah, I feel great. I don't know. I'm ready to talk some trial and error for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about trial and error first, but the problem is that I haven't seen it.
That is a problem, Grant.
We're going to go ahead and bring in your co-host from the UGO podcast.
That guy?
Yeah, Mr. Travis
Oh man, I came here to get away from
Kielpikowski.
him. No,
Yeah.
no!
Oh,
God
come join
damn
in.
it! Ah, this fucking guy.
Hello, people.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
All right.
Cocaine wine? It's mostly cocaine.
What do you think I've been doing this whole time?
So I want to know who here watched season 1?
Yeah.
All the way through, like as it was going? All right.
No.
No, podcasters, we raised our fucking hand.
Damn it! No, I actually I work for That's My Entertainment and I do interviews.
Okay.
And I was assigned Jeff Asteroff. And I watched a little bit of old New Adventures of Old Christine. I knew him a little bit, but I'm like, I guess I should watch some of his new show. So I paid for like a couple episodes on Amazon Prime. Because they were like, this was like a week ago. Like I'm a recent fan. Binged that whole bitch in a day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, this show is fucking amazing.
Travis,
Yeah,
same deal?
I didn't even have to watch it for anything. I just saw him watching. I'm like, what is this? Oh my god, I want it all.
Yeah.
All of
Les,
this.
you were like me, right? You watched the first season as it was
so
going?
I got behind on the first season, so I got to catch the last half of it on Hulu.
Oh, man.
Because I'd watched, I think, 6 or 7 episodes of it.
I loved this show. Like I try out sitcoms, but I usually try out sitcoms with an eye of I'm going to watch an episode of this and hate it, and then I can move on with my life. And I loved this, and they were showing it 2 episodes at a time, so I thought they were burning through it.
Me too.
I thought they were going to cancel it, and then instead they brought it back for a second season with a new murderer, a new big star.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw the first episode at ATX Fest, but they put the first 2 up, so we've all seen the first 2, right?
Yep.
Suitcase and Timeline. Yeah.
Suitcase and Timeline, and their first their big murderer is Kristen Chenoweth.
Yes.
Fucking Kristen Chenoweth.
I didn't realize how well they were setting this up in season 1. They actually in the finale for season 1 they mentioned the body in the suitcase, which they don't mention it being in a car. They say it's by a lake, but whatever. All the stuff named Peck, all the I like that by setting up her character as Peck Foster. Without having actually introduced her or committed themselves to anything prior to season 2, they had already laid all of these. All this shit's just strewn around the town, waiting to be picked up. Like there's so many jokes to make about her and about the town. The show is endlessly inventive. Like we laughed multiple times earlier about the East-West Peck.
Well, you understand about East Peck is that it's west of North Peck. And
they're in 2 different time zones.
We're 2 different time. North Peck are 1 hour ahead. We're in a geographical time paradox, if you will.
That actually sounds a lot like Austin.
I honestly, Randy, I have the same deal with sitcoms. Like, I try to watch sitcoms most of the time. They are painfully bad, and I spend time wondering, like, why do I put myself through this every time? When one works, I remember that, oh yeah, sitcom is a genre worth maintaining. There's a reason we keep making. Sitcoms. Like they're formulaic as fuck. Like at 6 minutes in, a certain thing's going to happen. At 8 minutes in, sitcoms are really formulaic. That said, when that formula is done right, there's an exact itch that television scratch, like that just sitcoms do for me.
There's thank God it's Friday level of like, oh shit, like I get, but it's like a new experience, and then the mockumentary thing, like you guys were talking about. Yesterday, after that really handsome man asked that question. Forget his name, some foreign name.
That's Milky Thighs.
Milky Thighs. Yeah, I like that guy. I like his work. And yeah, that style of like I was talking with Jeff Asteroff about it, and he's like, I wanted to do. He said, well, you guys similar. I was working on sitcoms a whole lot, and I just didn't find them funny anymore. And I'm like, I gotta switch up my format. I gotta try something different. And so he wanted to make something bingeable.
Yeah.
He wanted to make something for the new model that would fly by and that people could just rock it through. And he ended up doing the mockumentary format because he thought like that was what the new way to go, the structure. He hadn't played with it before, and he was interested in it. And I think he took to it like a fish to water.
I like that this show more than The Office acknowledges the camera crew.
Yeah,
it's a character in the show.
They're like, why are you guys following us into this room?
The number of times that Josh does the camera motion, it's always funny.
Yeah,
it's always funny.
Chenoweth, not Chenoweth. I think it might be in season 1 when the prosecutor's really hitting on him.
Yeah,
and clicks the door
she
shut.
She pulls a Harvey Weinstein on his ass.
And he's like, the camera's still here. And I'm good with it.
Like.
The thing I really like about this, and it goes to the bingeable aspect of it, is that there's jokes layered in. Not just the town of East and West Peck and all that kind of stuff, but the fact that Sherry Shepherd's character develops new and strange things every week.
Yeah.
But they keep it consistent.
But they keep it consistent. And they didn't play it up as much in the second season, but Josh is wearing a name badge every time he sees her. And they don't ever mention her face blindness at all.
Face amnesia.
Yeah. And there's each one of those characters has something like that they go through, and they have a
Dwayne
consistency.
Reed.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, the man's name's Dwayne Reed.
Yeah.
Which is just funny for a certain portion of the country who has. But yeah, the weird asides of like John Lithgow mentioning that he has an extra testicle.
Yeah.
And Dwayne said, you got a fourth one?
I got a fourth.
Wait, no, man. No. How many? No.
I think my favorite part about Dwayne is actually when I came into this while Nick was watching it.
I was trying to figure out who you reminded me of.
Yeah, he's like, who's reminding me of? I'm like, oh, that's Hick Ramsey.
It's Redneck Ramsey. Yeah, it's like Ramsay Bolton from Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
You put a little redneck on top of there. You get a shitty haircut.
No, you look at it, you're never be able to see it. I swear.
I swear to God, like, oh man, no, that's what I see now.
I also think that the legal drama aspect of it actually really works because we've all seen courtroom dramas.
Yeah.
But to turn on its head for comedy works really well. And like they find the one thing I loved about in the second season is this could easily have been a one season thing where it all worked, and the second season was just, oh, we've seen all this before. But the new judge and the
His name?
Nobody can understand him.
yeah, but
It's as good as the Stand Against Evil phone noise.
and that they keep doing. They keep going to say, well, like he has another name that you don't want to pronounce, and it's like you keep getting these bits of he's going to be he's going to be relieved, and then he's like, oh, I don't have to worry about saying horse dick, and then it's with this guy, and this guy's name, and he's oh, god damn it, and it never gets easier for him. But I love also the flip this season. In the first season, he was dealing with a client who was a nightmare client because he was a very nice guy and had probably not done it, but he looked so guilty, and they all hate him because he was an outsider.
Even though he clearly was innocent. She's clearly done it.
And
Yeah,
she's
and
the flip
everyone
side.
loves
Everybody
it.
wants, everybody wants to let her off. Yeah, it's
Take
such
back her scarf then.
it's such a simple and yet elegant reversal.
Yes.
Yeah, elegant in its
Chenoweth
simplicity.
can just chew that scenery for
Oh,
days.
she's so great.
Genius move. Genius move.
And of course, they give her to sing in the second episode.
Yes.
Of course, for like an hour or so.
Yeah,
But he goes on and on.
Well, I'll see you guys later. Like, no, I need to ask you a question. No, I'm sorry, honey. I always leave on the applause.
She's so amazing.
No, what I really hope for this second season, though, is a little bit more of Summer. Because
you think we'll see Summer again?
I think we'll see her.
I think she's
I was
gone.
wondering.
Is she gone entirely?
I was wondering that. She
I want to know.
I think the Hendersons are gone.
In
I
the
feel
season
like-
one, it seemed like Summer was still going to be on the show, even though Larry bailed.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring both them and Lithgow on for a special episode.
See, I don't
near
know.
the
I don't know.
end.
I think they should just bring Summer back as
so
a
I
character.
so I can answer this question from IMDb if you guys want me to.
Okay. Might as well.
She is not going to be on.
Okay, that's disappointing
that
to me.
is
She's and now IMDb is not always right, as I've learned doing interviews.
But,
Sure.
Yeah. But
I thought she was a good foil. For
Yeah.
the rest of the cast.
Yeah, but I think they've got Carol Ann Keane and Josh have that back and forth
Yeah.
now. They've got that, and then adding in the murderer, they've got a different love triangle going. So it's almost like they don't need her in that same role. It is too bad because I liked that character a lot.
Yeah.
But I think they do want to keep
going
it.
to the Jessup thing. Oh my god!
The little bits that and I feel like I don't know if this was in the first season or not. The little bits of history from Peck that are all narrated by Dwayne.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are killing me. The lady driver thing.
The lady
They
laws,
didn't have
written
those
by
in the first
ladies
season as
for
much.
ladies, is like.
By the way, the lady laws are real.
Oh,
shit.
There is a
man.
place in the U.S. that had the lady laws.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
That
yeah.
is sad.
It's not good.
The lady driver thing cracked me up every time.
Yeah,
but
women can drive, but a man has to go out and announce.
You know, lady driver.
Yeah.
Lady
So,
driver.
do you guys get a sort of a Mike Schur vibe off this too, especially with like the ensemble cast and the building a place like Parks and Rec kind of thing?
I feel like this show is Parks and Rec on crack a little bit.
Yeah, because you don't have to skip that first season. It hits the ground running.
Right, that's true.
It knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's bouncier and absurd in that same vibe. They're doing the mockumentary to a better effect
Yeah.
They're not
for me than a lot of these shows.
Yeah, they're not afraid to go for it.
Yeah.
Like, and all these shows, like Parks and Rec would never have a person jump so high they go through the fucking.
Walk backwards that long.
I have what's known as French Maine jumping man's disease. It's very common amongst French men.
I like
Maine.
From Maine.
her explanations of like,
Yeah.
this may come as a shock to all of you, but I have been the subject of several studies. Because I think in the first season they need a neurologist or something, and she's like, I know one.
Oh, I know a guy.
Yeah.
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Yeah. Also, that
What's
when-
shocking for her is that she's only been for a couple.
well, and also things like Dwayne shooting himself as he teaches gun safety.
So many times. The amount of times he's lost his gun, like,
Yes.
left it in another room, left it in another house,
Yeah.
on the water fountain. Like, the amount of times he's just reached out and like,
Well,
Oh.
East
Oh,
Peck
shit.
is such
Shit.
a great fucking bonkers place that I feel like they studied my hometown in Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Of just like this small town, like the biggest event is this fucking pumpkin festival, and it's like oh man, this place is great. I had like a steak for like $3. Like, oh yeah, they rip off the tourists. I should have sent you down to the
There's a
place you can
$1.50
get-
steak
like
joint.
$1.50. Yeah.
yeah. I love like Great News is another sitcom that I adored. It's a totally different format, but hits that same like you guys aimed at sitcom and hit sitcom squarely.
Yeah.
And I feel like similarly, Trial and Error aimed for funny sitcom. They're not trying like. We talked about Good Place earlier when we were discussing this off.
Yeah, sure.
thing.
I would say Good Place is
and it's not
top
going.
tier.
It's not going as high-minded as Good Place. Like it's not doing that. It's not trying to, and it doesn't need to. Like I feel like Trial and Error just aimed at sitcom and fucking nailed it in a way that nobody else really is for me.
No, it knows what it wants. It knows what it's doing.
I don't think I've seen a show that I've fallen in love with this fast that wasn't The Good Place in the past couple of years.
Usually there needs to be a more high-minded premise for me to really dig on something. But the ensemble is so solid on this show.
I think it's flying under a lot of people's radar, and I think it's a shame because, it's one of the best comedies on TV right now.
It's a little bit of a sleeper, but hopefully season 2 can change that.
Yep.
All right, guys. I'm taking my mic back.
Kicking me out.
All right, so now we should be talking about
Nick's fading. Oh, he's down.
I think it's a cocaine
That
wine.
cocaine wine wears off. You get the cocaine wears off, and then it's the wine. And
That's just red wine running out his nose, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. He's fine. He's fine.
Yeah, well, let's give him a little break while we talk about Castle Rock, and we'll try and pull him back in.
He'll probably come around. He'll come around when we get questions.
I bet he'll be here for listener questions.
Yeah, you know what though? I think there's a little more cocaine wine. I might try that out before listener questions hit.
Not
It's the
recording
only
that
wine you can
intro.
snort.
All right, let's talk about Castle Rock. So Castle Rock is over on Hulu. This is an adaptation, not an adaptation really. It is an amalgam of all of the different books of Stephen King. His works all kind of coalescing into this one shared universe that we're following a modern day story in the city of Castle Rock.
Maine.
Yeah,
in Maine.
There's always been a weird vibe in Stephen King stories that like upstate Maine's just fucking haunted.
It
Right.
might be. I've never been to Maine.
I've never been to Maine, but from what I can tell, everything within an hour drive of Bangor is a fucking horrorscape.
Like Stranger Things seems to allude to this as well, because wherever they're taking place,
Stranger Things very much did that same vibe of like let's just plant it in here and say, which I feel like this has been kind of a running gag in Stephen King stuff then for a long time, like for Stephen King readers, and this is. I felt like watching Castle Rock that some, not Stephen King himself, but some television exec that had like knew how to get a show started and worked at a company that had rights to some Stephen King properties or whatever, watched American Horror Story and went, because it has that same AHS vibe of like, let's throw in aliens and demons and possession and murder and haunted houses and ghosts and all of it. Like, what if everything happened at once?
Well,
Stephen King already has all that, like just laying there.
And it doesn't really work. Like it feels like Stephen King. Like you've got your troubled psychic. You've got the kid stuff because he's going back and doing stories with that. You've got references to things like Cujo.
Yep,
and
the summer with the dog.
The creepy
when they found the
lead.
body by this, they say, it was that same summer when they found the body by the train tracks.
Yeah.
Right.
Stand By Me.
Yeah. And
they refer to Shawshank's warden suicide.
Yeah. Well, and the creepy lead, who we don't know the deal about even 3 episodes in, is the guy who played it.
Yeah, Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah. So there's a lot of layers here.
And the setup they're doing with that kid alludes to, and I don't know if they're doing this consciously. I think they have to be. It alludes to a Twilight Zone original ep.
Oh.
So there was a Twilight Zone original
That's
episode
right.
where there's a guy that goes to stay with a bunch of monks in a monastery, and the monks give him a room, and they tell him like there's a guy screaming, like if you hear screaming or whatever, don't worry about it. Like you don't.
Yeah.
This is not your place.
Yeah.
You're a guest. Shut the fuck up, basically.
Yeah.
And the guy just can't stand it. Like, there's this dude wailing, and the guy tells him, like, they're keeping me prisoner. These monks are not okay. You have to let me out. He lets the dude out, and you come to find out
He's the devil.
he's the devil. He's the literal, actual devil, and these monks had the devil imprisoned, and there hadn't been, like, a world war.
irresponsible monks letting this other guy in if they're holding the devil.
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
do house guests if, like, your second bedroom has the devil in it.
Yeah, sorry, no
But
house guests.
Watching Castle Rock,
We're
I kind of had that
dicks.
same vibe of like,
Yeah.
are you guys pulling from? And I don't know if that's a Richard Matheson one or what, but it's from that era of Twilight Zone. And so I kind of wondered, are they pulling from old?
You know what I realized right at the beginning too? It starts with this incident that happens in 1991, where our main character Henry, I think his
Henry
name is
Deaver.
Henry Deaver, as a kid, he goes missing, and this cop ends up finding him under kind of supernatural incident.
Yeah, it's
circumstance.
been minus 40. He's been gone for 11 days. There's no frostbite or anything. I really like how mad the cop gets at him.
But I noticed it took place in 1991, and then they jump ahead exactly 27 years to current day, and 27 years is a very important number in it. That's when
That's the loop
it
for it.
keeps reoccurring as well. So like they have this number 27, which is like this.
I bet
recurring
19s turn
thing.
up in this show.
Yeah.
There's also like the room he's in the prison is what 237, which I think is also an important number somehow. Like
Is that the
I can't remember if
number
that's the Shining
from
room.
The
Is that-
Shining?
it might be.
I think it's the new room from
There are
Shining,
so
yeah.
many, and I'm at best a casual Stephen King fan.
Yeah,
I didn't catch every reference, but my friends who are Stephen King fans are going nuts over this.
Kind of like Nick Ty's talking on the Patreon we did about going to anime conventions. I'm like, oh, I thought I was an anime fan. Turns out I'm a casual anime fan.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
And I feel like that watching the Stephen King thing of like, and I've read a fuckload of Stephen King, and I still,
Yeah.
I'm not obsessive about it.
I've
I
read,
just am not.
I've read like maybe a half dozen books and seen a few of the movies. I am a casual Stephen King fan.
But there's a lot of this that I am like. Stephen King's names all sound very similar to me. He tends to pick names kind of within
Sure.
a world.
Mhm. Yeah.
And a lot of these names are not previous characters, but they allude to it. Henry Deaver is really close to Henry Dean. Henry Dean is Eddie Dean's older brother in The Dark Tower.
Okay.
So he's not a major character, but he is like the closest important person to a major character.
so
But the sheriff is
Pangborn.
Pangborn.
Andy Pangborn. He's from Needful Things.
Needful
I believe.
Things. He's the
Yeah.
sheriff from Needful. And there's a clip. I don't know if it's in the opening credits, maybe, or maybe somebody. Yeah, it's in the clippings
They
about the
allude
store
to
that
a
burned
lot
down.
of different
The,
shit in
the
that intro.
store burned down,
Yeah.
which is the Needful Things store. Yeah.
I am digging it. Like there's
Oh, I loved it. I loved it so
now
much.
I Hulu does a once a week drop of
Yeah.
episodes, and
Yeah.
like I get that. That's part of their format for everything except Future Man for some reason. But because of that, they generally do a 3-episode drop at the start to hook you. They absolutely had to fucking do that for this show.
I'm so glad because I watched the first episode and I was like, "Oh, that was good."
the tone's
interested.
dead on. You got it.
And then
but nothing
episode
happened.
2, I fell in love with it. And then episode 3, they started to get deeper into what was
Yeah.
going on. And I was
Episode
completely
3
hooked.
with Melanie Linsky.
Melanie Linsky.
Yes.
Okay,
By the
their
way,
cast-
I love Melanie Linsky.
Their
we know.
casting's great, man.
We
Can I-
know, Randy.
Can I talk a little bit about how much I love Melanie Linsky?
No, it gets
okay,
weird.
Fair enough.
It gets weird.
Their cast is phenomenal.
Oh, it's
here.
it's great.
So the kid from Shameless that is
that's
the guard that calls
yeah.
Deaver.
Yeah.
I can't remember that actor's
Prison
name.
guard.
He's fucking awesome in Shameless. I don't.
He's also in Terriers.
He is an actor.
He's the
yeah.
kid who gets amnesia
Yes.
in Terriers.
Yeah.
So he's an actor that I cannot tell how old he is.
Yep.
Like I don't know what age range they cast him.
He's
You could tell me
ageless.
that kid is 18 with the hardest childhood ever, or he could be 40. I don't fucking know.
Yep.
But he is so perfectly cast here. And of course, Bill Skarsgård with dilated eyes just looks creepy.
man, Bill Skarsgård
And they keep dilating his eyes.
Yep.
I don't know why, but like his eyes are dilated in every scene.
And red.
Scott
Yeah.
Glenn.
Scott Glenn's
Man,
great.
Scott Glenn. I've always loved Scott Glenn. Not in the
Dude's
way
a
I love
national
Melanie
treasure
Linsky, to be
now.
clear.
Yeah.
I love Scott Glenn, though.
always loved him.
Yeah,
You always
loved
love
him.
everyone.
I do. But he is, as he's gotten better and grown to this sort of cantankerous old dude, it's even better. Like he's always played the cantankerous old dude to some extent.
I mean, he's kind of the same guy right now from Leftovers.
Leftovers.
Kind of similar,
and
right?
Stick.
And
A little bit.
I mean, I like him
I'm a
in this.
cantankerous old man.
You cast him as a cantankerous old dude. I am good with that because he plays it so well. When he's in the bar with the warden and he's like, "Don't let that fucking kid out."
Yeah, after being coy about it through the whole time, and then just looks and drops it on her like,
yeah.
I'm so glad the show has expletives in it.
Yes, me too.
Like that, it just like embraces that
Yeah.
aspect. I'm like, it needs it.
There's a
for
lot of
some
shows that
reason.
just feel weird lately. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of shows that I feel like just realize they're on streaming, and so they
Yeah.
have characters just say shit every once in a while.
And it kind of catches me off guard,
Yeah.
right? At first, I'm like,
this show
okay.
though, like
It needs it.
I like how tired some of these people are. I also the way they are handling her low grade psychicness.
Yeah.
Melanie Linsky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that Melanie Linsky's low grade psychic powers is my favorite way anyone's handled a psychic on television ever. I think.
So here's my question
That
on
is
that.
just a complete overload that I have to
yeah.
drug
Yes,
up.
that is, and that nobody believes her. Like her sister's like, "Are you still taking fucking Percocets?"
Her sister, by the way, played by
Alison Tolman.
Tolman. I mean, the cast is amazing
Oh,
on
yeah.
this thing.
Amazing.
And do you think? I know that
Terry O'Quinn.
Stephen King has written a ton of psychic stories,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like Melanie Linsky is referencing the Dead Zone. Because the
Little
Dead
bit.
Zone it's about someone discovering like an apocalypse, and I wonder if she's going to find something really important here,
Like Henry's dead,
like yeah, something.
Like
and he's
Henry's-
able to talk to a risen dead person.
Yeah.
Never been alive. Yeah. Henry has been dead since he was a kid or something.
right.
I get the sense. Okay,
There's a Tommyknocker thing going on too, though.
what's Tommy Knockers?
Okay, so it's the one book Stephen King fucking hates of his own, so I'm not sure they're going to actually do Tommyknockers.
Right,
on it. But
right.
it's very much about his problems with cocaine while writing. Basically, a spaceship thing artifact lands in the woods, like acres behind this lady's house, and she's a stuck writer, like between books. And she walks out and finds this thing, and it gets in her head. Basically, like she doesn't realize what's happening, but she just starts like shitting out books, like churning out material, like crazy productive.
I was like shitting.
You definitely need to rephrase that.
Whole books, hardback books.
I'd be dead after one.
This is the worst episode of Twilight I've ever heard of.
But she goes back to her place. She sits down at her typewriter and writes like not just a 300-page book, but the best, like blows her agent away, like the best book of her career. And her agent's like, holy fuck. But basically, you start seeing that it's not that touching this alien artifact made her super smart. It's overtaking her. And within a week or so, she's not herself anymore.
It's controlling her.
It's fully possession. Like, only you're being, like, transformed into aliens. Like, basically, that's how they're invading the planet. And it's real similar to what happens a little bit in Dreamcatcher, when you find out that, like, this has been... In Dreamcatcher, there's basically a government agency that's like, they try this every once in a while.
Yeah.
We know about it, and we stop them. But Tommyknockers is, like, this thing lands, and it seems really positive... Like they're becoming more efficient humans, but then basically it just burns out the shitty humanness of you.
Right.
And I feel like the whole I have a mystery to, or behold, I will reveal to you a mystery.
Right.
And the whole creepy, like, where did Henry's dad go?
Yeah.
When she
killed him because he's like he
not-
was abusive, right?
No, but it's not his dad. When the sheriff's looking for Henry and the Pangborn's looking at her going, or not Pangborn, but the deputy's looking at her going, you have to help us find him if you know where he is. This is like the cops are like, we think he killed, like, it's clear the cops think Henry killed his dad, but they're like, it's a search and rescue. We're definitely not after him as a suspect or anything.
Yeah.
And she says, that's not his dad. And they're like, no, it's his dad. And like, she only says it once and kind of under her breath because she's under pressure from the cops. But I think she knows, being psychic, that like that thing that you found in the woods is not Henry's dad.
Well, no, but he's adopted.
Oh, so she killed someone else in that.
She killed whatever the fuck came back.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, but Henry
still having
seems to
nightmares
be
about it.
either
And-
Henry or whatever he came back as. She's cool with.
She's cool with him. I like the just freak out of like, no, I love you, but I can't be near you.
Right,
Your
yeah.
psychicness completely overwhelms my thoughts.
It's a great love story in that way.
And I honestly, it's one of the neatest setups of psychics I've ever seen. I would watch just a show about a psychic where you're hearing other people's thoughts, but then when they talk, you don't hear them because it's underneath a louder radio of their thoughts.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I liked how frustrating that must fucking be.
How they channeled that to her being on live TV was such a great scene.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the tensest thing. And there's plenty of tense things in there, but I was like, you're screwing up. What are you doing? Stop, please. Just put on your sunglasses. Do something.
The other reason I think it's kind of a Tommyknockers thing going on is because when Henry's dad drags him out of the house, because Henry's dad drags him out of the house in the middle of the night, like, we're going to the woods.
Right.
Do you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yeah.
And Henry's not hearing whatever sound is Pied Piper drawing his dad out there to be overwritten, I think.
Well, that's the thing. We're 3 episodes
Bill
in. We still don't
Skarsgård
know
asks
everything.
him.
Yeah.
So as an adult, do you hear it now?
Yeah.
And it completely fucks Henry up. Like, how would you know that?
Because we see that one scene where he goes out to visit Terry O'Quinn's car or the crash site.
Yeah, because it's the
and
same
he gets
place.
kind of pulled into this like sort of hypnosis scene where he's like traveling back in time.
I almost
through
thought
the
he was going
winter.
to turn around and meet him. Like, I almost thought, like, are we going to keep adding Henrys to the mix here? Like, is he about to turn around and come home with a kid Henry?
Right, I kind of thought
I
that
had
too.
a minute there.
By the way, it takes balls to kill Terry O'Quinn in the first 5 minutes of your episode.
Dude, in a really spectacular way.
It's amazing. Like at ATX Fest, I saw the scene that opens up episode 2.
Okay.
Where it's him doing the narration all the way up to him in a hatch setting up the prison.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, guys, the lost parallels are plentiful here. Having Terry O'Quinn, having a hatch, building another secret prison, having the black kid go missing.
Yep.
Having a sort of changeling thing going on, having him holding a little white chess piece thing, like the Adam and Eve character.
Well, you know why, right? Because Lindelof and Abrams are both huge Stephen King fans.
I mean,
I'm willing to bet, but long before they got to the green light to do this, they were
Yeah.
just like, well, we're never going to get to fuck around in the Stephen King universe. Let's cram everything we like about Stephen King into the island.
That is not in dispute. They are huge Stephen King fans.
Yeah.
They've been open about that.
and it's just like going back and forth. I'm like, this is scratching an itch I needed here. This show is I was hooked from the very first episode. Like I had no qualms with the pacing of that one, and I was on board for the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Just on how well that was executed. But given the fact that I got 2 more to open up the world for me, it was even better.
I just love how solid the tone is.
Yeah.
So often Stephen King shows and adaptations are so fucking hokey.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand how to translate what is good or spooky or scary in the books. And it's like you can't just go through a Stephen King book and take every capitalized letter phrase and make it feel important on the show. Everything starts to feel absurd. And so I feel like that's why stuff like Shawshank and The Body, which became Stand By Me, and like those Stephen Kings end up working best on screen because they don't have a supernatural element to get the tone wrong.
Plus, I think his short stories adapt a lot better because you have a whole movie to carry it out. But
often when they try to adapt the full novels, they end up having to cut a third of it or something.
And having a TV show just makes a lot more sense because you're not rushed.
Yeah.
You can take your time and really work all this out.
And also, it's not an adaptation.
I thought
it's
this
inspired by.
True. Yeah.
That's such a great way to I would love to see somebody do this with the books of Elmore Leonard. Or any.
Well, it's
any
kind of what I
number
thought
of
we were
authors.
really going to get out of Hap and Leonard, like just kind of a live in this world.
Stephanie
vibe.
Myers.
Yeah. What? No.
I like how you're
That look is great, Randy.
What?
Oh my
No.
God, the look on Randy's.
I was like, I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah, I'm sad.
You're
I'm sad.
reconsidering your whole
I'm
friendship.
sad for so many reasons. First of all, I'm sad that I knew who that was, and second of all, I'm sad that Grant knew who that was, and third of all, I'm sad that Grant suggested it just for a cheap laugh.
So I had the weirdest watching Castle Rock when there's a couple of moments I always crack up whenever two people are discussing a nefarious scheme and they don't wait for the help to leave the room.
Yeah.
But the new prison warden and her consultant assistant dude are discussing what to do with the no-name guy.
They're like, let's just put him in a cell with a killer.
Well, yeah, we could just put him in a cell with a lifer that collects life sentences and let it work itself out. Like, dude, let the guy taking your empty coffee leave. Like, you need to hear the fucking door click before you suggest that.
Well, that guy's next job's gonna be in the Trump administration,
right? So I was like, because you see the guard stand there and listen, like, what the fuck?
Look, not everybody can be as bright as Rob Cohen.
Who could have possibly contacted Henry Deaver? Except maybe everyone, because you guys are talking.
You just talk about this in front of everyone. Yes, yeah. I really
worst criminals.
I really thought that the show was going to be more episodic, like we were going to tell a monster of the week that all added up. And I wasn't expecting the mythology show so heavily, but I'm really digging it, and I'm so glad that Hulu gave us 3 to, like you said, to hook us. I did have a really weird experience. I went to high school with an actor that is in this show. Mm-hmm. So his cellmate, the lifer that collects life sentences that they throw him in, the skinhead.
Right.
Uh-huh.
I went to high school with Bree.
Did he have all those tattoos then?
Yeah, no. Holy shit! Like, so he tweeted out today about oh my God, I'm on Castle Rock. Everybody watch, blah blah blah. My character's views do not represent my own. And anybody that has never known Bree Davis, Breon Davis he's a really good actor. I was shocked when I realized oh fuck, that's who Bree plays.
That's so great.
Because just from his name, I was I haven't seen him in the episode yet. And, I know what Bree looks like. Surely he's going to turn up. And then, it took me a minute of, are you fucking kidding me?
White Power Bill.
Yeah, it's such a short, it's such a brief scene. But yeah, I just sit there going oh shit, man, I was in one act with you in high school. That's just crazy.
Yeah,
I hope he gets so much more work. I really love seeing Bree, and I want to see him not have fucking SS tattoos all over him.
And he was great. He was great in it too. That was a really good, really important role, and he nailed it. This is a 10-episode show, which I love a good 10-episode show.
You do.
And I am
10-episode shows, Melanie Linsky's.
It's made for me. And then Lost References is made for Grant.
Yeah.
And Les's friend is in it. It's made for Les.
Stephen King. I love it. It's great.
Let's be honest. Lost-esque puzzle boxes are made for Les.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, I'm so there for this.
But I've been griping a little bit about this year has not presented me a best new show yet. This could be it. I really, really liked this.
Man, it's 3 episodes, and I like the pacing of this. If all 10 episodes were put out, I would have binged right through it.
Oh, I would have watched the rest of it. Yeah,
I'd have
for
watched
sure.
at least 2 more before I came here tonight.
Yeah.
Man. All right, let's go ahead and take a break.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and kill this bottle of cocaine wine.
All right.
for the best.
I don't...
No, it's good.
No,
It's
okay.
good.
Randy, you go off in the corner.
It's good.
We'll see if we can round up some other guys for the question. All right, guys, we are back. We kicked Randy to the curb for the questions segment, and we brought in the one might say the genius behind the scenes of the UGO podcast, your co-host, Travis Kielpikowski.
There you go.
Well, I would say he's the wind beneath my wings, but that's just I mean, I call him my life partner. He
You
does not
do
like
realize
that.
why Corey thinks we're gay, right?
I mean, we we do get that a lot.
Yeah.
Embrace it.
I will not embrace that.
Embrace him.
Not,
Just
not
embrace right now, Travis. Right now, he said it.
Get your
Let's
hand
do
over
it.
there.
Oh my God!
So if you guys like us on Facebook once a week at facebook.com/tvdudes, you guys can ask us whatever, and we're going to try and answer some of these questions. You know what? I'm going to scroll down here to this first one from a guy named Nick Thighs.
Who is this asshole?
That sounds like a porn name.
Yeah,
It does. It does.
It does.
It's very arousing.
I mean, it's a
Nicky
porn I would
thighs.
watch. He looks like a handsome guy.
I mean, Travis, you know this is arousing. It says, "Hey dudes, I just finished watching the latest crop of Arrowverse shows, and I was wondering if someone on the pod could share their thoughts on this. Are you asking so you could share your thoughts?
well, who would? I mean, I can.
Perhaps someone blonde, blue-eyed, and just happens to be passing through. Anyone vaguely Aryan looking? Really? Wow. I mean, here's the thing: we're all a bit Aryan, but not Sig Heil Aryan. He's very specific here. Yeah, so more like a 90s Disney protagonist area. Anyone around like that? Nick,
Oh,
do you have thoughts on
what
this?
what an oddly specific request.
Yes.
Yeah, I have watched Arrowverse.
Trace the call.
The call is coming from inside the studio. So yeah, has anyone else kept up with Arrowverse?
Somewhat. The Arrowverse.
You watch Legends, right?
I mean, yeah. So Arrowverse, I'm up on. Arrow itself.
Oh, the dumpster fire of a season that it had.
The sadness that is, the dark secrecy of Arrow.
So I do a review for we do a review for all the Arrowverse shows like twice a year, once for every break or whatever. And this one broke me. I don't think we're going to do it anymore because
They're our most popular episode.
Arrow, I know people love it, but I seriously can't fucking do it anymore because Arrow is such fucking bullshit. I swear to God.
Broke away Team Arrow, or new Team Arrow.
Okay, so yeah, we're going to split up Team Arrow. Like Wild Dog, Terrific, and Clack Arrow are not going to be on the team, but they work in the same city and are fighting the same bad guy.
And their new team name is New Team Arrow.
New Team Arrow. That's their team name. This is
Way to break away.
This is a non-conflict, and the whole season is filled with those. And anything that's good is just a shadow, pale imitation of the thing they did in a previous season. And I'm so sick of this with Arrow. I'm sick of it getting better, like slightly better by margins, and then going back to shitty, and then kind of better, and then shit.
I feel like they know that if they get Terrific to fly with the T-Sphere, I'm back. I'm fucking there.
I don't feel like we asked for much. We still watch Legends of Tomorrow.
And I know Echo Kellum wants to fly.
Yes.
He wants his character to get this going. So, do it, and I will come back.
Well, also, they had the whole Legion of Whom this season, as I like to call them, of these no-name villains because Arrow kills all of its best villains. And so we go from people like Deathstroke to...
But I did like Vigilante.
Yeah, but we...
Mostly because the costume looks so perfectly 80s DC. They nailed that costume.
But the main guy is fucking Ricardo Diaz.
Yeah, that
which
was
is
not good.
He is so boring. He's the most boring Arrow protagonist, I think, ever.
I am glad that at least we got a Flash villain that was not a speedster.
Yeah, the rest of that season didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
And they go on the grimdark thing a little too much there, too.
Well, and now next season we're going to have speedster out of time.
Yeah. Which,
So we're back to
I mean, we
speedsters.
did Flashpoint, and we're doing it. I feel like Arrowverse, like all the Berlanti shows, they have 2 good seasons, and then they repeat. Like, they're on rinse and repeat. Even Supergirl sucked its 3rd season. Like, I really did not like it the last half of it. Like, sad Supergirl is not a good story.
Yeah.
And, like, if you're going to do Legion of Superheroes, please have more than 3 of them, and have not one of them be that dumbass Mon-El, that white bread.
Too much
fucking,
of Supergirl is about redeeming Mon-El,
Yes!
and it drives me a little nuts. Like, I feel like
he takes over the show.
He's the douche bro proxy for, is it Kreisberg that they fired?
Yeah.
And I feel like Mon-El was the douche bro proxy for a kind of shitty male writer.
It's all about a redemption for this
and they keep bringing it back in.
white straight male character.
I feel genuinely bad for the actor stuck as Mon-El, frankly. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that dude asked to be the most white bread character on TV.
I feel bad for discount Josh Duhamel too.
Yeah.
Like I just
Wait, there's a discount Josh Duhamel?
who's also
Josh
a discount
Duhamel.
Timothy Oliphant.
I was just saying, because isn't Josh
It's a
Duhamel already?
It's like that scene in Multiplicity where they make the copy of Michael Keaton that's just not right.
It's like finding out there's a 50-cent store, not just a dollar store. Like, why would we go there?
Was $1 not enough?
It's just we're being real mean to Mon-El or whatever that actor's name is.
Yeah, it's really not fair. Like, he's dollar store Zach Levy.
So, in conclusion, check out Arrowverse. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Black Lightning's so good.
Black Lightning is a damn fine show.
Yes.
It does tend to name its episodes like a 90s alternative band song.
Yeah.
Like, how ridiculously pretentious can our episode titles be? Book of something, episode 3, volume 12, gospel of the such and such. Like, these are single episode titles for
And
Black
also,
Lightning.
Legends of Tomorrow has an episode where Kid Flash teams up with Elvis to fight ghosts. So
Legends of Tomorrow continues to be
it's
your friends in a gaming group or like the guild or something.
its greatest strength is
Yeah.
all the fucks it doesn't give.
Yeah, like they just stopped caring and decided to be fun, and I feel like it's saving Legends.
But in conclusion, great question, Nick Thies.
Yeah, that's good. We have no more time for questions. Only yours.
Arrowverse recap. There we
No,
go.
we'll do a couple more here. Here's one from Jonathan Haptemichael who says, "Hi, dudes, and Mr. Milky Thighs."
Yeah. Oh man, that's my porn name.
In honor of the guests' punny nicknames from Mr. Davis, what are the best series title puns you can think of? You could go for a plain pun like baking bread, or a saucier one like domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Shameless
Okay.
plug there. He says, P.S. You now have to watch Gravity Falls because the main character, Mabel Pines, sometimes wears an electric sweater. And P.P.S. Thanks for the Austin food and attractions, recommendations last week, since I'll be in your neck of the woods mid-September. Jonathan, if you're in our neck of the woods, hit us up. Come by the show.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
let's go grab a beer or something. Let us know.
Yeah.
If we leave them alive when we leave.
Yeah, right.
And on his point, Gravity Falls. How about Depravity Balls?
Oh, nice.
There you go.
You know, I saw this one that there was this image of it was a dog dressed up like Heisenberg, and it said barking bad.
Oh.
And it was just one of the worst things I've ever seen.
That's
I was
so
like,
good.
oh god.
that's sad.
It's an island about really attractive people and what they get up to. The show's called Lust.
Okay.
It sounds kind of like Lost.
It's Lost meets MILF Island.
Grant's like, it'll be funnier if I explain the joke.
That's the first rule of humor.
It's always funny if you explain the joke.
Travis, you got one?
Unfortunately, don't.
No, go. Okay.
Well, let's jump to this question. This might be a little bit more for just you, Les. Hey, dudes, how have you not talked about Disenchantment? I thought maybe during... Oh, comes from Oscar Osario, by the way. He says, have you not talked about Disenchantment? I thought maybe during Les's interview with the Futurama creators there'd be some talk. So, thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts are that I interviewed Maurice LaMarche last week separately from the Futurama guys, and we talked about it. So that'll be coming out pretty soon.
Now, have you
Super
seen
jelly.
Disenchantment?
Not yet.
Is it out?
No, the trailer's out now, thanks to San Diego. It's coming out on Netflix.
I don't even know what Disenchantment is.
So Matt Groening has a Netflix show coming out.
Oh, right, on Netflix.
Yeah, this guy's finally going to have a hit. I think this is going to be the one. Matt Groening's finally going to get something on the air that stays.
That guy is so needed
I
it.
know. I feel
That
bad.
asshole.
Like, You know? So Disenchantment is instead of going to space for Futurama or going to suburbia for Simpsons, this is medieval sword and sorcery. And so you have a hard-drinking princess who is just basically like a complete drunk fuck-up. But I think she's a princess, but she wants to be basically a scoundrel adventurer. And her very Bart-looking like elf helper and a demon. That like a little weird black demon.
It sounds
thing
like
that looks
Harmon Quest or something.
It looks very Harmon Quest, only Matt Groening, and it's all the usual suspects. I mean, it's all the normal voice cast you'd expect in these things.
Sweet. Marvin Delanier says, Les, you watch everything. Are you watching Steven Universe? What's your take? And, you guys watch Steven Universe,
do,
right?
We watch the fuck out of Steven Universe.
Travis, what do you think of Steven Universe?
So Steven Universe is one of those shows that you're gonna have to get through the first 12 episodes, depending on how they number it, because
Shit.
They're only 15 minutes long.
it's
Real short.
Okay.
that's the thing. It's either 6 or 12, depending on who's numbering it.
Right.
And then once you get past it's kind of like episode of the week, just kind of very SpongeBob-y almost at
So watch
first.
3 hours of this show.
Yeah, you'll
The episodes
hit
of the week are great.
It's like Adventure Time. They're building on stuff that you don't know they're building on.
Okay.
You'll basically we always say get to Giant Woman.
Yes.
Once you get to Giant Woman and you watch the episode, if you don't like it, you're probably not going to.
Suddenly it all just kind of oh shit.
You realize they've built a world. I like the episode of the week episodes. The whole world's cute and
They're fun, yeah.
But the Giant Woman's about the time where I realized oh shit, you guys are building a lot of mythology here. And wow, does this show have deep, long questions about the origins of the characters and their past together, and
They deal with toxic relationships, they deal with sexuality, they deal with gender identity. They go full out for what's considered a kids show.
What's going on with I'm blanking on the
It's the only
with the agendered gems that we're discussing here, but Sapphire and Ruby's whole relationship in this season is amazing.
It's the gayest show on TV, and it's the better for it.
It's a show about gay space rocks.
Yes.
Okay. Sweet.
They even have the only non-binary character that I can think of in a cartoon that uses they and them pronouns. I mean, it is a fusion between a main character and a friend of his or whatever.
I hear such great things about this show. So.
Well, it's even great because
if you like Adventure Time, it's right up your alley.
There's actually a few countries where the space gems are all considered female for the most part. In one country, they actually, because there's 2 of them that are in a relationship pretty obviously, that they've gendered one as male. So the creators seem to put that as a big fuck you because they had a wedding episode where they put that character into a dress.
Yes.
Nope, you're not doing
Yeah,
this.
it's
You're not
try doing it now.
Yeah.
Try it.
You think we can't make this show gayer? Here's Pearl singing a torch love song about her long lost female lover while she's wearing a tuxedo.
Then you've got 2 female characters that are literally bound together into a third character. So as a proxy for a relationship.
Station, I get it.
Basically,
Bogus.
if Station were in love with himself and both
Isn't
girls.
he? Isn't that what's going on there?
But then
It's like one of the writers is Rebecca Sugar from Adventure Time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and she wrote a lot of Adventure Time. So,
Who I believe just came out as non-binary.
yes,
Then they've had a plot this season though where those 2 characters had a fight, unfused, split apart, and
they brought it back.
and kind of chose to come back together. And it's not just that they had a relationship fight; they then spent the time in the show to do the plot of them getting through it. I don't see that on grown-up fucking shows.
Well, then
Yes.
the Fire Nation attacked. So
and then, and then they have a whole wedding episode, and me and Travis are like, "Fuck yeah, a wedding episode! We are into this!" It was just amazing. This show.
There is kind of a melancholy PBS sad to it sometimes. There's very much it's okay, but the world's fucked up.
it's also a show that shows you it's okay not to be okay.
Well, it's the
There's
only-
a lot of times where they don't leave everybody happy.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into the last question here. This comes from Alec Miracle. Says, dudes, there's too much hate in this world. Tell me something you love about a show that you hate. And let's do this one kind of quickly.
Okay.
What's Les, you can kick us off here.
Tell us about the one thing in the OA.
The wah. All right. I won't go into all the reasons I don't like that show because that's all on record. It is sci-fi that drew in a ton of people I know who don't normally geek out to me about sci-fi, who came up to me going, hey, I feel like this is a thing that I'll have in common with you that I don't normally have in common with you. You love sci-fi stuff, and I'm watching this show called The OA. And it was painful for me because I fucking hated it. And so I would look at him like, I really don't want to talk about that show with you. But I have to recognize that that draws people into the kind of big picture sci-fi concepts that I love seeing explored in shows. And if those kind of things can be explored in, it broadens that tent. There are now more sci-fi fans after the OA than there were before the OA.
Yeah.
Can't believe you guys. I took 4 days to come up with that.
I went on a rant about Arrow, so I guess I'll mention the one thing I like about Arrow is Stephen Amell. He's a fantastic human being, and he's actually very excited about projecting the role. When he's at conventions, he's an immaculate human being. He's very nice. It's just in a show that the writers don't. I wish the writers cared as much as he did. So,
But man, he can do a salmon ladder like a mother.
yeah, there's that. There is that.
What about
Travis,
you,
got one?
Travis?
Yeah, I got one. I talk about very similar to Les Point is Devilman Crybaby, which is an anime they put on Netflix that, wow, I don't like it. And we have a whole entire episode ranting about how much we do not like it. But it's pretty much the same thing, is that it's an anime that actually a lot of people did like, and it's on Netflix, something that's a major distributor now. So it's like, hey, that means that we can get more of that, whether I like it or not, more people can access it.
Right.
Yeah, Netflix will decide that they have anime fans now, and they'll go find another series to capitalize on it. Yeah.
For my part, I'll go ahead and say Sons of Anarchy is that show that, man, I fucking hate that show. And I could not stop watching it because there's a charm about those guys. When they get that show right, they really get it right. And those guys would be given certain victories. They would do some a dramatic sequence here or there that either dropped your jaw or just like really touched your heart. And it was just like, wow, that show can be powerful. It has some great writers behind it. But those guys would also just fall into the most lazy fucking tropes and just some bullshit, and I hated that show.
One of my favorite things about listening to old TV dudes is the rise and fall of Grant's love of Son of Anarchy. It was just this back.
Kept going.
I'm done, guys. I'm done. Next episode, like, I mean, it's man, guys, it got good again. It did. Like, Grant, like, it's gonna hurt you again. Like, it's just,
It is. And I can't do Mayans. I don't know. Nick and Travis, thank you guys so much for joining us. And
Yes.
where can people find you?
Oh, they can find us over at any of our social medias. You can find me personally at Nick Tice on Twitter, NickThyes, not thighs, Tice.
Tice,
Yeah. That's the other guy. And you can find our podcast at UGO Podcast or at Pod Against Evil. And you can find us on Facebook, Instagram. We post a bunch of convention pictures from our stuff at Anime Austin, all that good stuff. And just come talk to us if you want to talk about geeky shit. Travis is not on social media.
I have
So-
Facebook.
You're back on Facebook.
I mean, I have a Facebook.
So look up Travis's garbage last name on Facebook.
It's true. But
And-
make sure you get the right one, because
Kielpikowski.
I do have an evil twin, though.
Good luck. Good luck, guys.
Well, thank you guys both for joining us. We really appreciate it. And if you guys stay tuned to Patreon, we're going to have you guys on for Patreon as well. So become a patron. That's patreon.com/tvdudes. And got that plug in one more time. Thank you guys again. I hope you guys have a great time at your Anime Austin Festival. And if you guys are in town and you're listening to this the day of, run on over there and go check them out. Until next week.
TV Dude's out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.